If you look around today, it's pretty clear the lines separating work, leisure, and travel well, they've completely dissolved.
They're gone.
We're not just taking business trips anymore. We are living a truly blended life. You might be on a video call from a service department in Bangkok 1 minute.
And the next, you're looking for an actual local cultural experience.
Exactly.
And that transformation is probably the most powerful force reshaping the extended stay market, especially across the Asia-Pacific region right now.
It's huge.
It means that traditional hotels and, frankly, old-school corporate housing are just becoming obsolete. So today, our deep dive is focused on how the major industry players are responding.
And we're zeroing in on one in particular.
We are. We're looking at the strategic expansion of Onyx Hospitality Group's Shama brand.
Yeah, and our sources suggest they've moved way beyond the standard room with a kitchenette model. Their whole mission seems to be creating a holistic living experience.
Centered on community and this is key, flexibility. What we've pulled are some fascinating strategies detailing this push.
And what's the core insight?
It seems to be driven by two specific pillars. A bold new lifestyle campaign, they call it the Shama Social Club, and a very structured, tiered offering.
One designed to capture every segment of the modern traveler.
From the C-suite executive right down to the project team with, a stricter corporate budget.
So if you're one of the many professionals navigating these long-term assignments in markets like Thailand, China, or Malaysia, understanding how a brand like Shama is doing this is, well, it's key.
It really is. It shows you the new baseline. The new requirement for corporate housing is community, not just comfort.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Let's start with that strategic commitment. Onyx Hospitality Group is really expanding its Shama brand internationally. Significantly.
And this isn't just, slow and steady growth.
No, it's a deliberate, very focused effort to reinforce their position as a market leader in these unique integrated living experiences.
It feels like they understood that if you're a traveler spending weeks or even months in a city, you don't want to feel like you're just passing through.
You don't want to feel transient.
Right. You need a base camp that feels permanent, connected. So what's the philosophy behind this big push?
The philosophy is baked right into their new strategy, the Live Your Blended Life at Shama campaign.
Okay.
And underpinning that campaign is a concept they call freedom to explore. This recognizes that today's professional needs stability.
The service department, a home base.
Exactly. But they also need the infrastructure to seamlessly explore the local culture, pursue their hobbies, and, network, both professionally and personally.
I really appreciate that they've given it a label because blended life just captures it perfectly.
Yes.
This isn't just about offering more than just accommodation.
Not at all.
This is about providing a complete environment that actually helps you blend your work, your personal life, and your downtime.
Without feeling like you have to switch hats all the time. Crucially, this move solidifies Shama's position in what is a very rapidly growing market.
They're competing against that sense of isolation that can really set in on a long trip.
They're solving a psychological problem displacement with a strategic communal solution.
And that strategic solution, I think, is what makes it so interesting. Let's dive into that really unique element they introduced, the Shama Social Club. It's an operational answer to that isolation problem we just talked about. Its main function is building community.
And not just connecting guests with each other, but actively connecting them with their surroundings. This is where you see the industry pivoting from passive service to, active lifestyle curation.
Yeah, because when you're on a long assignment, the hotel gym or the sad little business center just doesn't cut it. It doesn't create connections.
Shama saw that gap.
But the details here are what really got me. I mean, what does community even look like when you're staying in a high-end service department for business? It has to be more than a weekly manager's reception with cheap wine.
Oh, it's far beyond that. The source material shows these highly specific, almost bespoke monthly activities, and they're organized under 3 distinct themes. This is the real differentiator.
Okay, so let's take their exploration concept. This is about local discovery and well-being.
Right.
The example they gave was a floating sound bath. My first reaction was, wait, is that truly scalable? I mean, does the average corporate traveler actually want a sound bath? Sounds a little niche.
And that's a fair point about scalability, but that niche quality is the point.
How so?
For a professional spending, say, 90 days in one city, these aren't just amenities, they are lifestyle hooks. The floating sound bath, it signifies a deep commitment to localized wellness and unique experiences.
Experiences you couldn't just expense at a generic business hotel.
Exactly. It adds a kind of social currency to the stay. It says something about the brand and the person choosing it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It tells us that the modern professional, even on assignment, is still prioritizing personal enrichment. We see that in their workshopping category, too.
Mm-hmm.
They mention hosting a personal color workshop. Again, that sounds less like a business activity and more like a high-end consumer trend.
But it connects directly to that self-improvement angle that especially a younger, globally mobile professional really values.
Right.
By offering activities that feel productive but have nothing to do with their actual job.
Like learning a new personal skill.
Shama reinforces the blended life. It makes the stay feel holistic, not just functional.
And then, for that truly integrated experience, they offer food venture, and they mention a curated Bangkok food tour. That's probably the most direct way to get people to connect with the city and each other.
So if we tie this all back to the core value proposition, the brand distinguishes itself by blending the essentials, the big living area, the kitchen, the laundry, with 24-hour hotel-level care.
But the social club is the secret sauce.
It's what transforms the accommodation from just a place you have to stay into a launch pad for exploration and community. That's what gets you long-term loyalty and high renewal rates.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit. This next part is critical for anyone whose stay is dictated by company policy. We know Shama caters to a wide variety of residents, from solo travelers to families relocating.
A huge range.
So how does the brand manage the inevitable differences in cost and amenities across all these different profiles?
That is the strategic brilliance of their three-tiered system. They recognize that a company sending a regional CEO for 6 months has a completely different budget than, say, a project team of 5 engineers for 4 weeks.
Different mandates.
Totally different. So they needed a segmented product line to capture that full spectrum.
And location is the common thread, right?
Yeah.
The sources really emphasize that all the properties are in prime residential areas in city centers.
Exactly. They want guests to feel rooted in a real neighborhood, not stuck out in some sterile commercial district. The differentiation comes from the product itself, the 3 distinct categories.
Let's run through them. First, we have Shama Lux. Who is that for?
Shama Lux is aimed squarely at upper upscale preferences. Think high net worth individuals, senior executives, families who need a lot of space, and the highest level of service.
So this is competing with high-end, long-term corporate leases.
Directly. This is crucial for maximizing their average daily rate, their ADR, and offering true luxury in the service department space.
Then you've got the central offering, just Shama, the core brand. I'm assuming that's where most of their units are.
That's the workhorse. The core Shama brand sets the standard. But the really clever competitive move, I think, is the third tier, Shama Hub.
Okay, and Shama Hub caters to upper mid-scale preferences. Why is this tier so important for their market share?
Because the upper mid-scale segment is often where the volume is. This is how they capture corporate policies for mid-level managers, big project teams, or expanded training groups.
The groups that need convenience and community, but are working with tighter per diems than the Lux guests.
Precisely. So by having a slightly smaller room size, maybe a different decor, or a location that's still central but not as exclusive as Lux, they gain a huge competitive edge.
So instead of losing that big chunk of mid-scale corporate business to, say, budget hotels, they offer a tailored solution that still feels premium.
It allows them to accept corporate mandates across the entire budgetary spectrum while still delivering on that core promise of the social club experience. It's a mechanism for complete market capture.
All right, let's talk numbers, because the strategy has to pay off financially.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Shama currently manages a pretty big footprint, over 2,500 units across 20 properties.
But there's a headline financial fact here that's crucial.
Yes. The brand's performance has exceeded its targets, and it's projected to generate significantly more revenue compared to pre-COVID-19 levels.
That's a huge statement in the post-pandemic hospitality world. Significantly more revenue. That's basically the proof of concept for this whole blended life model.
It is. It suggests the investment in lifestyle and community isn't just a nice to have, it's a real revenue driver.
So what's behind that increase? Is it just higher occupancy, or are they able to charge a higher ADR because of these bespoke amenities?
Our sources suggest it's a mix, but the differentiation absolutely allows for a higher ADR. Standard service departments only really compete on location and size.
But Shama is competing on lifestyle.
And stickiness. The social club leads to better guest retention, longer average stays, and that reduces turnover costs and allows them to command a premium.
That makes perfect sense. The immediate ROI on a floating sound bath might be hard to calculate.
Right.
But the ROI on keeping a high-value guest for an extra 3 months because they love the lifestyle?
Right.
That's massive. Geographically, where is this success concentrated?
Right now, it's concentrated across major Asian business hubs, so Thailand, China, Hong Kong, and Malaysia, all critical gateways for international business.
And they're clearly not stopping there. Onyx is planning a really robust expansion across Thailand and Southeast Asia.
And they're deploying strategically across their tiers. You can see the momentum in their recent moves. New Shama Hub properties just launched in Hong Kong and China, and Shama Swasana in Malaysia.
Which reinforces that focus on capturing that high-volume, upper-mid-scale corporate market.
Exactly. The hub concept in established locations.
And looking forward, their pipeline shows they're moving into new territories while also bolstering their luxury footprint.
Precisely. The future plans show this calculated segmentation continuing. They're building a Shama hub in Thailand, so more saturation in that key market. But critically, there's a new Shama Lux slated for Malaysia.
Doubling down on the demand for executive-level stays.
And maybe the most telling sign of confidence is the core Shama property planned for Laos.
Which indicates that they believe this blended life model is scalable even in emerging markets.
It shows they believe the model isn't just profitable in megacities, but it's an essential framework for the modern international professional period.
Okay, so to pull this all together,
I think to synthesize our findings, the successful formula for extended stays now hinges on blending professional convenience with authentic lifestyle and community integration.
that blended life philosophy.
It's not just a marketing angle anymore. It is rapidly becoming the required standard for major corporate travel solutions.
I agree. For me, the biggest surprise is just how specific and personal the amenities have become. The fact that an activity like a floating sound bath or a personal color workshop is now an integral, financially successful part of business lodging. It just shows how far this market has moved from a simple hotel room with a desk. The competition is no longer about square footage or free Wi-Fi.
It's about providing genuine social currency, enabling real local connection.
Which leaves us with a pretty important question.
It does. A final question for you to consider. Shama's performance has been exceptional, exceeding pre-pandemic targets by generating significantly more revenue. It's proof of concept for the Shama Social Club and this tiered structure. So does this success mean that business travelers now fundamentally require community and curated lifestyle programming with their accommodation?
And if the answer is yes, how quickly does every other major player in corporate housing have to adapt their entire model to meet this aggressive new standard of holistic living?